the classes we've had up to this particular point, we've been looking at the income side of the ledger. And tonight we're going to turn the corner and we're going to start looking at the expense side of the ledger. And we're going to be looking at school spending. In my research, I came across this interesting receipt. And this was an actual receipt from, I think it's 1906-07. And what you will see is they have their, oh no, it's 1911-12, fiscal year 12. And they have the listing of their expenditures. Flag cost $6 in those days. They had coal that was costing $60.96 for the year, and their receipts and cash in hand and etc. And when it was all said and done, they had $49.49 left in their as carryover into the next school year. So I thought that you'd find that a little bit interesting to see how things have changed from in 100 years as far as the cost of education. I'd like for you to take a minute and jot down as many expenses that you can come up with that schools must pay for. As many expenses that schools must pay for. I'm sure you can write for much longer than a minute on this, but let's go around the room and Charles, tell us which one, give us one that you came up with.
Salaries.
Salaries, yep. And we all realize that's probably the largest expense that the school district would have.
Transportation.
Transportation, yes. And you can even break that transportation down into items within transportation. Okay, Jim?
I put like utilities.
Utilities. What would you say is happening to utilities this year?
Oh, rising.
Rising
Very
significantly. We did not expect to have this cold of winter, and so therefore, just as your homes, if you heat with propane or gas, you are probably paying almost twice as much. And it's going to be hurting school budgets, to say the least, because they didn't plan on this severe of a winter.
Building maintenance and repairs.
Building maintenance and repairs. Mary Ann, once again, we could even go through and detail that even more so within that area. Jamie?
Substitutes.
Substitutes, right, absolutely. We're going to have to pay when people are not feeling well. Okay, Stephanie?
Office supplies.
Office supplies.
I put field trips.
Field trips, okay. We need a line item there for field trips. Go ahead, Scott.
Athletics.
Athletics. And we're going to find out when a couple people do their reports about how athletics actually works. Charles, you got any left?
Technology.
Technology, yes, if we're purchasing technology. And once again, that can be broken down into a bunch of subjects.
Special education and curriculums.
Okay, special education and curriculum. Once again, that could be like salaries or the curriculum, the textbooks, or the supplies that are purchased.
Professional development.
Professional development, absolutely. Mary Ann.
Oh gosh, I've drawn a blank.
Okay.
Pass.
Pass, okay. Go ahead, Jamie.
I'm out.
Pass, okay. Pass.
Well, it's something that we did when I was in high school, summer cleaning of the
Oh,
buildings.
okay.
It was a little different than the maintenance. We did the clean up the yard works and stuff like that.
Okay. It would fall under the maintenance account, more than likely. Scott?
Just any unforeseen expenses that occurred during the year. Emergencies.
Yeah, any emergencies that you might have, go ahead.
I would say other.
Yes, and of course buses, if the school owns vehicles, those kinds of things would also be accounted. So, needless to say, schools spend lots of money on all the items that they have spent. I thought you might find this interesting. This is a listing of states and teacher salaries. And if you can see that, New York is up at the top. Can somebody, 73,000. I think it's fairly current. That was the average teacher salary in New York. Falling down here in 16th place is Ohio. The average salary in Ohio is $57,000. That's average salary, teacher salary. West
We're at the
Virginia.
bottom.
Oh, geez. West Virginia is
Still
at
at
the
the
bottom,
bottom.
45,000. No union. And remember, they balanced their budget quite handily, maybe on the backs of teachers, to say the least. So, go ahead.
I just received the legislature update today that our proposal is by 2019 to have, I think, 49,000 as the, I don't know if it's average or starting salary.
I doubt if that's starting.
Average.
Yeah, if this is,
I
if
didn't read
45,000 is your average, I have
Then
a
it's the
feeling that they're
average.
talking about 49,000 as an average.
I think it was they were going back and forth 2% or $1,000
Yeah, okay.
with that as a projected.
Mm-hmm. And so they're starting with that, and who knows what might lead up to. Okay, this next slide will show you these items in major groupings. And we already figured out that salary, in this particular case, about 72% is salary for school systems. And you'll see over here, benefits at 10%. So 82% of the total amount of money that is budgeted and that is spent is for staff. Now, I would contend, I just pulled this chart off the internet, I would contend that this school district is in a bit of trouble, because when you are at 82% of your total budget for salary and benefits, you are starting to be in trouble fiscally. Typically, you want to stay between 65 and 75 is where you would prefer to stay as far as those those items are. Another term is called purchased service. A purchased service is a service that is provided to the school for routine types of activities. For example, trash collection would be a purchased service. And oftentimes there are contracts that are written that would require, would be considered purchased services. So that would be a category. Of course, supplies, who can tell me what what would be in supplies?
Office supplies?
Office supplies would be one category.
Paper.
Paper, definitely, would be in there.
Uniforms for
Perhaps uniforms could be in there. So you can see that supply, and I'm colorblind, so is that 7%? Is that what I'm looking at, or is that
Yes.
7%? Needless to say, we don't have a lot of money to put into supplies. The next one is called capital outlay, and capital outlay is hardware, particularly computer hardware. Could also perhaps be buses. That would be a capital outlay. And you can see here that 2% of that is capital outlay. So this just gives you a feel for overall how school districts do in fact spend their money. And as we said, if a school district could stay between 65 and 75% of their salaries and benefits, they are going to be a little bit better shape than a